Got a 2-night stay here at the Grand Californian, courtesy of GetAwayToday. They're hosting us for a couple of days. It is 7 a.m. and we have just bounced into downtown Disney today. Well, I've got these guys with me here. I got Liz, I got Sophie. We're going to be spending the day here. This video is going to be focused on the optimal early entry strategy. Hotel guests, they get into the park a half an hour before everybody else. And not only do they get to get into the park half an hour before everybody else, they get to queue up out here in downtown Disney at the Esplanade before everybody else as well. So we're gonna get a head start and we're gonna show you guys what I believe to be the definitive, absolute best way to spend that half an hour. Well, actually there's two ways. I'll show you both. We're gonna do one, and I'll tell you about the other one. Let's go. Wow. Early entry is great, but it is just a half an hour. And it is, as you can see, morning guys, very, very competitive, even at 7 a.m., which is what, I think it's now 7:04 as we get out here. There's a lot of guests. You're competing with everybody at the Grand Californian, at the Disneyland Hotel, and at the Pixar Place Hotel. And they're all getting here at the same time. They all want to do the same thing, right? So you got a rope drop early entry too. But it's still not as bad as it would be if it were a regular proper 8 a.m. rope drop. But it does pay to get out here at 7 a.m. like we have, because this queue is probably going to grow even more. It's probably going to come out here into the middle of Esplanade a little bit, and you got a little bit. Then you're losing 5 or 10 minutes. 5 or 10 minutes means a lot. Probably closer to 5. It's probably closer to 5. 10 would be like in the middle of the Esplanade. But even still, every minute counts. You want to try to get as far ahead of everybody else as you can. So strategy is fundamental when you're getting here at 7:30 a.m. We're going to be through the gates at 7:32, I think, or something like that. I don't know. We'll see. And then we're going to begin our early entry strategy. Note also, at 7:10 p.m., which is our present time, you are also competing with guests coming in from Harbor Boulevard. Guests who are walking in from the hotels. So they're going to be mixing in. They're going to be growing these queues out here also. So as an early entry guest, even though you are going to be able to get into the park proper at 7:30 while they're all going to be out there at rope drop, they are going to fill up these queues out here at the entrance. So you're going to be competing with them just to get into the gate. That's going to add, as I mentioned, that's going to add minutes to how long it takes you to get into the park. 7:21, and they have started letting us into the gates, which is good. We used the queue that we were in split in two, so that was also beneficial, but you can see how competitive it is getting out there. There you go, guys. 7:27. They're right. Look at that. There's a rope drop even at early entry. So we're 7:27, and even that's not fast enough, I guess, for Space Mountain. There's proper rope drop out there. They haven't started lining up yet. The guests are still coming in here. So the object obviously is to get ahead of all this. You've got time for maybe 2 attractions, I think. 2 attractions, that is, if your goal, like ours, is to rope drop Rise the Resistance. A lot of people ask us, Dave, how do you do Rise the Resistance if you have early entry? There is a separate way to do that. There is a path to Rise at early entry. We're going to show you how you do that. But first, Space Mountain. So there goes Fantasyland, and there goes Tomorrowland. So half that people that we just saw were going to Fantasyland, actually. So let's start the clock. It's 7:30 right now. I want to see how long we can get through this whole thing, and if we'll have time for one other attraction, probably Buzz Lightyear, if we have time. Yep, that's what you're doing. Early entry taking you through the Lightning Lane queue, which makes sense. No point in doing all of that if there's only this group. So this will probably be the case until 8 a.m. when the rope droppers show up. That's 7:17 to our ride vehicle. We're looking at maybe, we'll probably be out of here at about 45, 7:45 we'll be done. You ready to go to space, Sophia?
Yeah.
Control. We are initiating power transfer in 3, 2, 1.
Like it? Yeah? Oh, your head, you okay? Yeah?
So all in 14 minutes and 44 seconds, just as predicted. It is 7:45 as we exit Space Mountain. Now at this point the question is, do you have time for one more attraction before you try to go rope drop Rise of Resistance? That is our main goal for this show, to show you how to do that. So we are going to skip. We probably have just enough time. We have 15 minutes to walk to Buzz, ride Buzz. Buzz takes about 3 minutes to get in there. It would probably be about 5 or 6 minutes all in between walking through the queue and doing the ride. It would take us to 7:51 or so, 7:52, and then we would have those 8 minutes to walk to Fantasyland. But I don't want to risk missing that rope drop. I don't want to risk not showing you how that looks, so we are going to go directly to the Galaxy's Edge rope drop spot. Now, only Fantasyland and Tomorrowland are open for early entry. Every other land is closed. That includes Galaxy's Edge. These guests are rope dropping Fantasyland. Those guests are going to be going to Tomorrowland in a little bit. Hi, guys. And then across the way, these guests over here at the Frontierland rope drop, they're going to head to Rise of the Resistance, and this is the biggest, deepest section of guests here at rope drop. Space Mountain or Tomorrowland gets pretty healthy too, but all these guests here are going to be heading down that path into Frontierland in order to rope drop Rise of the Resistance. You will see a smattering of guests, early entry guests. Hi guys, good morning. Do the rope drop from here. I don't recommend that actually, because it's a longer route to get to Rise of the Resistance. Not only that, you're competing. If you don't run and sprint ahead of that group, you might get trampled, that's a lot of pressure. We're going to take you through Fantasyland. There is a path to Galaxy's Edge from Fantasyland where it's going to be pretty chill, I think. On the way, we can observe just how intense Peter Pan can be. I would not second guess you rope dropping early entry Peter Pan at all. As a matter of fact, we're going to talk about that in just a minute. But this is early entry. They haven't even dropped the rope yet. If you're out there right now on an early entry for Disneyland, if you're out there rope dropping Fantasyland out there at the hub, this is what you're up against. This is what you're up against. 8 minutes to rope drop. Well, maybe not exactly chill, but more chill than the group that you're going to be up against out there with the Frontierland crowd, that's for sure. At 8 a.m., this fence, this gate will open up and you're going to be able to go directly through and into Galaxy's Edge. It's just on the other side of that fence. It's a shorter, I believe to be a shorter, less competitive walk than it is from Frontierland. Now, while we have a few minutes, because we're waiting for the rope drop, it's going to drop here in about 6 minutes. Let me cover a couple things. There are two separate strategies for early entry. One is if you have Lightning Lane, the other is if you don't have Lightning Lane. If you don't have Lightning Lane, you choose the path that we took. You take Tomorrowland, you do Space Mountain, maybe try to squeeze in another attraction, and then you come here, if Rise is on your menu, you come here to Rise, do this at 8 a.m. If you are getting Lightning Lane, then your path would be Fantasyland, Peter Pan, and then whatever else you want to knock out in 30 minutes. It's probably going to take you, I would guess, about 10 minutes to do Peter Pan, and then you'll have, actually 20 minutes, you can get a lot done. You can get Alice, Snow, Toads, probably Storybook Land maybe, although that's a longer attraction, but you can get all of the dark rides done and the teacups probably in that half an hour. And then you do the same thing. You come right over here. You're actually closer. It's a shorter walk. You come right over here and do the Rise of Resistance rope drop here at 8 a.m. If Rise, though, is not on your schedule, if you don't really care about rope dropping Rise at 8 a.m. and you want to do something else, then that changes a little bit how you set up your morning with regular attractions. For example, I might be inclined to stay in Tomorrowland. Oh, they just opened the gate. I might be inclined to stay in Tomorrowland. Space Mountain, Matterhorn if it's open, because it's closed right now, but then you do Matterhorn, maybe Runaway Railway. Don't go to Adventureland yet. Don't go to Frontierland. Well, actually, you could probably handle Indiana Jones at that 8 a.m. spot, or maybe just before that. But don't go to Big Thunder. You don't want to hit Big Thunder no matter what until about 9 a.m. We're going to get into more of those details, though, after we finish rope dropping Rise here. It is 7:56. We're about ready to go. There it goes. That's the music queuing us up. That's the 8 a.m. rope drop music that's playing right now. And I will say this, okay, so I've never actually done early entry and gone to Rise. This is my first time timing it. What I have done, though, is several times time the walk it takes from Frontierland to the front entrance of Rise. So we're going to be able to compare those notes. But I'm fairly confident that we're going to be at least, all you need to be is 1 minute ahead. That's all you need to be is 1 minute ahead to get ahead of all that crowd, and then you're in good shape. Yeah, I wasn't sure if they gave you both options. So the front or the this entrance does not appear to be open. The whole crowd is taking the other path. We'll know we're ahead if we see any people blending in. Okay, so we're gonna beat most of it. Looks like the runners, the sprinters, are gonna blend in with us here. You see up there on the left, right over there, that's the front of the Frontierland rope drop. Yeah, so we just barely.
Like early entrance versus rope drop.
Yeah. So the runners have caught us. By the way, do not go through New Orleans Square. Do not go through New Orleans Square if you're rope dropping. Do not go through New Orleans Square. Because then you're going to have to traverse the entirety of this queue that we're about to build as we roll up into Galaxy's Edge and Rise. All these people are going to start forming a queue, and those New Orleans Square guests are going to have to walk the length of all of that queue to find the back of it. Okay, here we go.
Look, folks, we'll keep the line towards the rocks that way. Keep the line towards the rocks that way, please. Look, folks, we'll keep the line towards the rocks that way, please. We'll keep the line towards the rocks.
Now, anybody coming from New Orleans Square from that direction, they're going to have to go find the back of the queue in that direction over there. And we're at 354, 355 right now to get to this point.
If you're on this side of me, get to the back. Stay to your right.
4 minutes to our spot in the queue, and I can say for certainty, I've done a lot of rope drops at Rise of the Resistance, as much as the next guy, and this is the closest I've ever been to the front. So it does pay, and like I said, you only have to be like a minute or two ahead of that Frontierland crowd. Some of those sprinters are going to get in there ahead of you, but that's going to happen no matter what. Those guys, that's what I'm talking about. These are the New Orleans Squares rope droppers. That is, now they're going to have to, morning. They're going to have to chase the back of the queue back there. It's a bad move. I've got to say, don't come from New Orleans Square. $8:45 to get to the caves. This is a great time. So, mind you, this is from rope drop at Fantasyland, so it's taken us just, what, 9 minutes to get to this point? When I said 8:45, that was 8 minutes, 45 seconds. All right, guys, 8:12. That means 12 minutes and 45 seconds to get to the Ray Room from rope drop. That is a win, you guys. That is a win.
Hurry, all recruits and transport. No need for safety gear. It'll be a smooth ride.
I am Lieutenant Beck. As you heard from Ray, I have been tasked with getting you to the car.
This ship is now under control of the first order. Everybody on board will report to the interrogation center immediately.
Scully County, we're here to rescue the people out here before they return. Blue and red, on left track. One breakers, we on right.
Did it work? Good. Now get a move on.
You're not authorized. Wait, those are the prisoners.
Wait, why are you going up? I said down. Up is bad.
The prisoners have escaped.
How brave, but ultimately hopeless. And the resistance. Okay, you're clear.
Your escape routes came in a little off target.
Great job, recruits. Thanks to your heroism, the location of the resistance base is secure.
And that's Rise of the Resistance. It is 8:30, so we went from rope drop. That's 30 minutes is pretty good. You're good. That's one of the issues though with rope dropping Rise of the Resistance in any capacity, be that early entry or regular rope drop, is that it does consume a large part of your morning. But the good news is that we're already ahead. We've already done Space Mountain. That's the other one that you want to get to. So it does open up your morning a little bit. And now at 8:30, look at this Rise queue. The Rise queue is out here in section 4. These guys are looking at 45 minutes probably, assuming there's not too much lightning lane influence, but there very well could be because we saw a bunch when we rope dropped this thing at 8 o'clock. Okay, so to recap, because we've completed the early entry part of the morning, that's done, and that helps to set up the rest of your morning. To recap, if you're purchasing Lightning Lane, then I recommend doing Fantasyland because if you have Lightning Lane in the early morning, you want to be stacking those reservations while riding non-Lightning Lane attractions, specifically Fantasyland, is well, considering that that's one of the only 2 lands open. So Peter Pan is the absolute priority number 1. Peter Pan, and then after that you could probably do all of the dark rides at least, I think, depending on what your preference is. But and you're right there next to the rope drop for for Rise of the Resistance. That was, what, 8 minutes to the queue, 8 minutes to get to the threshold there, so that was pretty great. So yeah, Fantasyland, if you are not purchasing Lightning Lane, if you're going standby only, then absolutely the number one target is Space Mountain. Space Mountain and then Rise. If you want to be daring, you can try to squeeze in a quick attraction like Buzz Lightyear. Or if Matterhorn is open, you may be able to have time for that, though. I would, that's probably on the edge. I mean, you wouldn't beat. That's the thing. You've got to make sure if you're going to rope drop Rise from Fantasyland, you've got to make sure you're at least near-ish, like where we were to the front, because we saw those Frontierland guests running. The runners are getting in there. If you're even a couple minutes after that, then you're going to start blending with that rope drop crowd, and you've kind of lost your advantage. So you got to be really, you got to be confident and secure in what your plans are. No wishy-washy, right? So if you don't want to go through all that trouble, then just hang out in Tomorrowland. Or even you can even do a combination. If you're not doing Rise, I would say Peter Pan first, then Space Mountain. 8:37, and at this point we're starting to, we're going to get into a regular rope drop pattern. We have to check and see if Sophia is tall enough for Indiana Jones. I think she's an inch short.
Maybe.
But we'll see.
I don't know how the math works. She was 44.5 inches in March. It's June now.
That'd be a lot of growing. But if not, then we're going to go to Haunted Mansion. Haunted Mansion it is.
Okay,
it wasn't even close. It wasn't even close. That's okay. Haunted Mansion is a very viable choice for a rope drop. On a rope drop morning, it's a very viable choice right now. There we go. It was posted 13 minutes out there, which means you can see it's a straight walk on right now at 8:30 something, 8:40 now. Some might have suggested Big Thunder at this point, but I mentioned earlier, you want to wait a little bit before you hit Big Thunder. I would say 9 o'clock before you hit Big Thunder, because they don't load all the trains at the outset at rope drop. They run two, one on each side, and then they bring trains in as the morning progresses. The first 20-30 minutes or so. So if you actually you can hit Big Thunder too early, and you wind up waiting for the train to load, come all the way around, and then load, unload, and then come all the way around again before you can get in the vehicle. So you want to wait until they have all the trains on the tracks.
Is this haunted room actually stretching?
Here in this ghostly retreat, every room has morphed into creeps and hot and cold.
Send us a message from somewhere beyond. Goblins and ghoulies from last Halloween, awaken the spirits with your tambourine.
Expecting me, I'll see you a little later.
All right, 9 a.m. We've arrived here in Frontierland for our last stop of the day, and that's going to be Big Thunder. Right now it's posted 25, and I can actually see the back of the queue. We may be here a little late on this morning. Mixing at 18:31. Should be just another few more minutes to get to our vehicle. So we'll be on 25. Less than 25. We're at 18. Yeah, it'll be probably 23. There you go. 22, 15, 23, and we got Peter too. Hi, Peter. I miss you. Was that? I just got to ride Big Thunder with Peter too.
I don't think we've ever done that.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember if I've ever been on any ride with Peter too before. That's pretty cool. He's still back there, but that was great. You sat right behind me. Some kid was screaming, so fun. That wild ride concludes our early entry session this morning, and I feel like it was a tremendous success, and it went really, really well. And I think we nailed the potential for Space Mountain and Rise of the Resistance. Both of those worked wonderfully, and there was lots of variations that we can do along the way, depending on whether or not Rise is in your calendar or whether or not you have Lightning Lane. Covered both of those, and we are now going to take the rest of the morning off. Hi guys, how are you? We're going to go meet up with GetAwayToday for a little breakfast. And I want to take this opportunity to thank GetAwayToday for hosting us for this 2-day stretch here at the Grand California, giving us this opportunity to demo early entry for you guys and ask you if you're looking to plan a trip to Disneyland or Walt Disney World, Alani, a cruise, you name it. Contact GetAwayToday. There's a link in our description. Click that link and that lets them know that we sent you, or you can just call them up and tell them that Fresh Baked sent you and book your trip through GetAwayToday. Nice, knowledgeable, awesome folks. We love GetAwayToday and they love us. So use the link in the description, plan your next trip through Getaway, and it helps us plan our future trips to Florida perhaps, or what have you. So we'll see wait. That's it. Yeah, no, stay tuned because we're going to DCA next. I've got an even more solid plan, an even more concrete plan for DCA. This one's going to be the one. Stay tuned. $7 a.m. and ready for another early entry. Part 2, Mission Breakout. Now, this one is both more difficult and more easy because of the current situation with Mission Breakout. That's going to make our plans absolutely a lock today. The morning here on the Esplanade is considerably more chill than the scene we found yesterday about this same time. I'm kind of curious why that is. What happened yesterday between or then and now? But it is 7:05. That situation with Mission Breakout is the fact that they're running 2 elevators out of 3. That's the most they're going to be doing. They're not going to be running 3 elevators for another year or so. So the demand for this attraction, the urgency of it is heightened even more, especially when you consider that there's a possibility, and I've run into this myself, that they run just 1 elevator in the morning, that they're having difficulties. If it's just 1 elevator in the morning, even if you rope drop it, you can run into an hour-long queue. At 8 a.m., I mean. So there's literally no other choice. There's no other thing you should be doing. If Mission Breakout is on your calendar for any part of the day, which it should be because it's, you know, one of the 2 or 3 most popular attractions in the park. And it's not like there's a lot to do here, so Mission Breakout is pretty much for everybody. You have to go there first. And I would bet, now there's gonna be some people here who are gonna rope drop Raider Springs Racers, but we have a plan for that as well. You can't. Raider Springs Racers is not open at 7:30. It opens at 8. Luigi's, I think, is open, but not Raider Springs Racers. Well, this is David from the future. I was earlier this morning at about 7:15 a.m. prior to early entry, explaining our plan for early entry. The plan was early entry, Mission Breakout at 7:30, be done by 7:45, maybe 7:50, and then catch the rope drop ahead of the 8 a.m. rope droppers, the early entry rope droppers at Raider Springs Racers. I was dead set, I was positive. I think I even said the words definitive plan for early entry. Things did not go our way. So badly did it go that I'm out here reshooting that part of the show and to let you know that what you're about to watch went very, very badly. We kind of recovered a little bit, but it didn't go very well. And so, but at the end of this show, at the end of this segment for DCA, we are going to have some alternatives, some plans to think of, to consider in case things don't go your way, in case you do want to ride Mission Breakout first thing in the morning, or if you don't, if you want to ride Raider Springs Racers. We're going to have all that covered. Just a heads up, guys, this is going to be a dumpster fire right now. Just like at Disneyland, some attractions are open, some are not. Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout is one, Incredicoaster, Little Mermaid, Mater's. So Mater's, it was Mater's, not Luigi's. Monsters Inc., Soarin', and Web Slingers. Now here's the problem with that. These are not land specific, like Tomorrowland and Fantasyland is at Disneyland. These are scattered. They're scattered through. Oh, Main Street Electric Parade. They're scattered. I'm like ADD right now. They're scattered around the park, so you have to kind of pick and choose. So we're gonna do Mission Breakout. You absolutely have to do that. And if there's, just like yesterday, if there's possibility, then maybe we do Mater's, but the goal is to go from Mission Breakout to rope dropping Raider Springs Racers, getting ahead of the 8 a.m. crowd that is already starting to come into the park. It is now 7:11 as I record this, and people are coming in off the street. Harbor guests are mixing in with these guests. They are going to start, you know, lining up for Raider Springs Racers, even though they probably shouldn't, because we've said, don't do that. If you're here on an 8 a.m. rope drop, before an 8 a.m. rope drop, don't do Raider Springs Racers. Come back and do that later. We did a whole video on that, explained it. So there's that. And by the way, also, I will say, well, then, you know, let me hold that back. Let's get into the park. We got to get going. All right, 7:20 a.m., time to scan in. Let's go. This is why we suggest, if you're doing early entry for Mission, that you come in from the main gate, wait out there and come in from that direction, as opposed to coming in from the Grand California, because the distance, the amount of walking you have to do is probably about twice as long, I think. That's my guess. And then there is the early entry queue for Mission. And this is basically your whole competition. This is it. And that's pretty good. That's manageable. Now you can rope drop. You got to get up pretty early. The Grand Californian, they start their bag check at 6:45 in the morning. I spoke with a bag check guy yesterday, and he said, "Oh, people will rope drop that too. They'll have people out there. Morning, guys. They'll have hotel guests at 6 a.m. waiting for a bag check so that they can get closer to the front of the line here for something like Mission Breakout if they come to DCA. So you can do that. You can try to be the first person at the gate. I mean, this is probably not a bad queue to be in. It'll take a couple minutes to walk these guests in, and we're probably where we're at, maybe 5 minutes is my guess. And this is the only way to go. This is it. This is the way. If you're early entry, Mission Breakout, this queue right here. Meanwhile, if you're trying to go to the pier, let's say, try to go to Pixar Pier, Toy Story Midway Mania or anything like that, this is the queue. This is not the way. This is not the way. That is the early entry queue. This reminds me of when Raider Springs Racers first opened up, and there was a queue. This was the queue just to get a fast pass for Raider Springs Racers. Morning. But this is the early entry queue, and it's much more competitive. I would not recommend trying to get into Mission Breakout from this direction. This is strictly people who are going to rope drop Radiator Springs racers at early entry. And by that I mean they're going to get to the Radiator Springs racers entry place at 7:30 and then just wait there for a half an hour. They're not actually going to get on the ride at 7:30. They're just going to start waiting, just like we saw yesterday at Rise of the Resistance. And yes, it does run all that way. That's just madness. This is as competitive as an 8 a.m. rope drop. Incredible. And by the way, yes, people are already coming in. That's the queue. That's the rope drop queue, setting up the 8 a.m. rope drop for Radiator Springs racers. Intensity in 10 cities. Look at that queue, man. That is giving me. I'm worried now a little bit. I thought my strategy was locked in, but because I've never actually done early entry at DCA for Radiator Springs racers in the way we're doing. I've done it before, but we had a whole different program. We were Getaway Today, which we are still today, where we're kind of doing a thing. Anyway, I have to guess that. Hi guys, good morning. I've got to guess that a lot of these guests are going to be doing just that. They are going to be going to Radiator Springs racers, so we're going to have a queue waiting for us there. We may not have time to do a second attraction. Oh, I gotta go catch up. The queue's letting in. Let's go! All right, yeah, looks like we're moving in. Some folks are turning left, incredibly. They're going to Monsters, I guess. I don't know.
Good for them.
That's wild. All right, 7:32.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout. Sophie, does that building look crazy or what? They're gonna take you, Sophie, to the top of that building and then just drop you.
And then leave you.
And then and then you gotta check out.
Okay, bye.
There's no early or late checkouts at this hotel. Just late checkouts.
It's only 40.
So I didn't have the camera rolling, but a cast member was speaking to somebody just out there. This queue's been moving really sticky right now. We're at 7:38. It's already been 8 minutes. They are, in fact, running just one elevator this morning. And that illustrates the absolute importance of getting this thing out of the way as quickly as possible. If you have an opportunity to do early entry for this, you have to take it, because it's probably going to take all 30 minutes of our early entry to get through this. But the reward is that you don't have to come back and try to do it at 90 minutes later on in the day if you don't have Lightning Lane, or if you get a Lightning Lane. These sell out, by the way. Book your Lightning Lane first. If you're on it, book Mission Breakout first. Even if you don't want to ride it first, book it and then save it for later. Keep editing and delaying your return time for later. But these sell out quickly, very, very quickly. They'll be gone before noon. Maybe even before that. I'll have to check the app at some point, maybe like 10 a.m. But there's so much demand for this attraction. There's so much demand. And normally I would say go opposite of that. But with early entry, I would definitely say do it. And even, God, I think, see, this is the thing, man. On an early entry day, no, everybody's going to Radiator Springs. You're probably okay coming here for a rope drop if you're an 8 a.m. rope dropper. I'm sorry. I've got all this stuff is just swimming through my head right now. For example, I should not have time to be filming this queue and filming this pre-show. I should not have time for this. I should be blitzing through the queue right now.
And presto, the door's open for me.
Wow! That was not part of the plan! What? Of course I escaped! For those of you who have not been paying attention, the name's Rocket. I'm gonna take this. Now move it!
Looks like one elevator there. And I see 2 empty elevators over here, so confirmed. 1 elevator out of 3. All right, well. 1 down, 2 down. That's the only one that's open. And this has actually just killed our efforts to beat the rope drop rush at Radiator Springs Racers. Yeah, so
You excited?
I'm so bummed. It's 7:54 right now. There's no chance. There's no chance at all. 7:55.
Oh, yeah, I'm excited.
We're in the second rotation. We've got 1 more to go. That's 3 or 4 minutes at least for that vehicle to clear, and then another 3 or 4 minutes for us to clear, and then the time to walk over to Radiator Springs Racers. We're not going to get there until 8:10 a.m. Man, Mission Breakout ruins everything.
that's how we sit.
So we're gonna sit next to each other.
So it's 3 on each side. All 3 on one side.
Now what?
Now the gantry lift.
Row 4, your top left.
Now show me those hands, people! Let's go!
It wound up being a complete and utter disaster of an attempt. This is why we do recon. This is why we test things. 8:13, we're coming out of mission breakout. 8:13, and all of our best laid plans are not working out. So we have to pivot. We've got to adjust. Look at, by the way, mission breakout right now. Oh my gosh, getting in this queue is just a choice today. That's going to take 90 minutes. It took us 40 to get through. It took us 40 at early entry. It's insane. That's saying 65 minutes.
Really?
I don't know, man. I don't know how they're going to get through there in 65 minutes. I just don't. There's no way. It can't be. Okay, let's just do a quick little drive by a few attractions. There's no posted wait time there, but that looks like 15, 20 minutes. Let's check the tip board. And there's a lot. Hey, good morning. A lot of energy out here this morning. There's no posted wait time. I don't know why they're doing this. Why does this keep happening? All right, let's take a look at the tip board real quick. I think we're going to Pixar Toy Story, I think. FYI, but I just want to see what at 8:18 in the morning right now. We've missed any opportunity for Radiator Springs Racers. Obviously, Radiator's at 120 right now. 120. Well, and but part of that is due to everybody rope dropping it at early entry. So it's like Peter Pan, but worse. I would bet that there was 1,000, no, maybe a few hundred people in the queue ready to go before the rope droppers even got there. So there's no chance of Radiator Springs Racers. But I do think that it's possible. I do think that you can do Mission Breakout and Radiator Springs Racers, getting in the queue, that is, before 8 a.m. We had a few things go against our way, not just the single elevator situation, but just the top floor seemed to be going quicker than the bottom, I think, or something to that effect, but it just took forever. But then again, we were talking with a friend in the queue, and she said she did this last week. They were running 2 elevators, and it still took 40 minutes. So I'm not sure. I feel like maybe you just have to, bite the bullet and get lightning lane multi-pass. I don't know. If Mission Breakout is a priority, then I guess you do have to do it at rope drop, even at early entry, and then you have to choose. You basically have to choose Radiator Springs Racers or Mission Breakout. Now what that's left us with at 8:19, there's Toy Story is 20 minutes, that's where we're going right now. And then you could probably hit Incredicoaster, I'm guessing. Let's see. Incredicoaster's 10, yeah, so that's still, the rest of the park is pretty manageable right now. Everybody is in Mission Breakout or Radiator Springs Racers right now. So that's an 8-minute walk from Mission Breakout to the front entrance of Toy Story Midway Mania. It is 8:24 now, and it's about a 20-minute wait. Oh, and now it's just up to 30. 30 now. So I didn't get to film our ride through Toy Story, but it took about 30 minutes. We had a competition with our Getaway Today crew. A little Toy Story Midway Mania competition. I did not rank. I'm still not very good at that game, but we had fun. So I didn't film it because I wanted to try hard. Anyway, so it's just after 9 now as we head over to Goofy Sky School. We're all going to be meeting up with Liz and Sophia for a ride there. I'm expecting about a 20-minute wait there. Yep, looks like no, it's not even 20, 15 minutes. And I'm seeing no lightning lane, which is great. We should be through here pretty quick. This actually is a very efficient queue if it's not being interrupted by a lightning lane. Was it recording on Goofy Sky School? It took about 20 minutes. There was a lot of lightning lanes that started. It's getting later in the morning. It's almost, what is it, 9:40 now. And that just, so I forgot to record. I didn't realize until the end. It's sort of a representation of how this DCA morning has gone for us. But it's important to note that this is why we do reps. This is why you can never really count on rope drop or early entry or any other plan that you might have as being the, it's gonna go this way, right? We make plans and God laughs. That's the way it goes. But we can learn some things. Things we can learn is that if you should do a little bit of recon, try to find out as early as possible. You can ask the cast member right at the entrance to Mission Breakout, are they running one elevator or two? Or if you're watching this video a year from now, maybe they're running all three. But answer that question first. If they're running one, then, you have to choose. You're choosing either Mission Breakout or Radiator Springs Racers. If they're running two, then you could probably do both. Although, like I said, I heard a story where they said it took 40 minutes, but I feel like that was probably an outlier. We finished at 9:15. Cut that time in half. That 45 minutes in half, it's 7:50, right? So you should have that time. So if they're running two, you probably you should be able to make it from Mission Breakout to Radiator Springs Racers. Now, having said that, there will be a queue. There will be a queue waiting for you. It's going to be better than rope dropping at 8 a.m., but there will be a queue of people who are rope dropping Radiator Springs Racers. The entrance at 7:30, the early entry guys, they're not getting in, but they're going to wait in that queue for 30 minutes until 8 o'clock. If, though, Radiator Springs Racers is your priority, if Mission Breakout is not the priority for you and Radiator Springs Racers is the priority, then what I would suggest is maybe doing Maters or Monsters Inc. or something like that at rope drop at 7:30. I keep saying rope drop, but what I mean is the early entry rope drop. Do Monsters Inc. or Maters or something super light, something that you know is not going to take more than 20 minutes. Get that out of the way, and then get in the queue for Radiator Springs Racers. Or you could even go so far as being among those groups who literally go early entry straight to Radiator Springs Racers and they wait that 30 minutes. There are going to be people doing that. And so don't feel like you're doing anything crazy or out of the ordinary by doing that. There are people, you're going to be amongst friends if you do that. And I would not judge you at all, because the wait time was 2 hours at 8:15. 2 hours at 8:15 this morning. We either hit it or you don't. It's a complete miss. In summary, I feel like we did pretty good with Disneyland. Things that the Disneyland went pretty well, about as I expected. We got a lot done. We got a lot of good things done, and things went the way that I was expecting them to go. Can't say the same about DCA, but this is the reason why, as I mentioned, why we do these recon sessions, why we do these reps, because it's never the case where it's always going to be the same way every single time. There's a lot of variables in there, and so I'm glad that we were able to get this. I just don't know how often I get into these resorts to be able to do tests, actual live field tests of early entry. So hopefully we'll get a chance to do that again. Thanks again to GetAwayToday for making that possible for us today, and maybe Liz and I find a way to get down here for another trip. We haven't been to the new Pixar Pier or Pixar Place Hotel yet, so maybe we find a way to get down there. But I hope this was at least educational and informative. Disneyland went good, DCA not so much, but there's still lots to learn from this session, and I hope you did. Otherwise, guys, stay tuned for more Fresh Baked. Stay tuned for our Grand Californian episode. I think that's coming up after this, where Liz and I enjoyed the Grand Californian aesthetic, the Grand Californian experience, all while doing this early entry episode for you guys. Stay tuned for that, and then be safe out there. Be kind to one another. Fresh Baked.